Welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon Mousavi. I am a local realtor in the Hamilton, Burlington, and surrounding areas. I wanted to quickly make this video as a buyer's guide and discuss all the steps involved in getting your dream home. So quickly, just a little bit about myself. I've been in the real estate industry for over a year now, and when I'm not making your home ownership dreams come true, I'm either diving into spirituality, reading the newest thriller novels, or playing with my corgi Taro. Okay, so let's get right into it with a buyer's guide. So on the screen I have a home buyer's roadmap. It is 8 steps from finding an agent to closing your dream house. Please note that this is only a high-level overview of the buying side process. For more detailed steps, of course, please refer to your real estate agent. So, diving right in, preparing to buy, your first step is finding a great agent. Finding a real estate agent that you can trust and feel comfortable with is just as hard as finding the right home for you. A purchase of this magnitude is a huge life decision, and you want to ensure that your real estate agent is just as invested in this purchase as you are. So let's talk about the best first step, finding a great agent. So there's some things you want to consider. You want to consider their customer service skills, their industry knowledge, their professional experience, and their negotiating power. Another important point I would always like to mention as well is you don't always want to go for the first person that you know. It's awesome that you want to consider friends and family, but that doesn't necessarily mean that their skill set is suitable for your intention in real estate. So for example, if you are looking for commercial and your family member focuses on residential, it doesn't necessarily mean they will be able to find you the best property for your business or for its use that you're looking for. So there's a lot of things to consider there, and it's great to have that conversation with the agents that you find, and don't be afraid to interview them. Okay, step 2, let's talk financials. So this is the part where you want to determine your budget. Typically, your budget should be within 3 to 5 times your annual income. Here are some typical closing costs involved in the transaction you want to consider. And these are the typical ongoing costs after closing that you want to consider as well, on top of the mortgage payments. Another really important component of determining your financials in the home buying process is obtaining a pre-approval. So this is such an important step because it helps you set the right expectations on what your budget could really be, and also it will show the seller that you are serious in proceeding and you have the funds to do so when it comes down to making an offer. So while we're still on the topic of financials, if you are a first-time home buyer, there are a few incentives that you can take advantage of, such as the first-time home buyer's incentive, which basically is shared equity with the government, land transfer tax rebate, and also a home buyer's plan, which involves your RRSP. So these are things that I would suggest if you would like more information about, you can definitely reach out, but I would also suggest touching base with a financial advisor because they are the best third-party professional to be able to discuss that information with. Okay, step 3, one of the most exciting steps in the home buying process. Before you can dive too deep into your showings and looking at different types of houses, you gotta know what kind you're looking for. Location. Are you willing to commute? Do you have a family? Do you need to look into what kind of schools are in the area? Things like that, grocery stores, etc., etc. A couple other things you want to consider are the type of property, the type of ownership, and then you also want to make a wants versus needs list, which involve like how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, if you need a garage, things like that, the details and characteristics of the home itself. So I'm going to put a list of the type of properties that there are. So there's detached and attached types. If you guys want to go ahead and explore and look that up and see what suits you. Otherwise, if you would like to know more in depth about the differences, feel free to reach out and we can touch base on what type of home works for you. So I've popped on the screen the different types of ownerships, freehold versus condominium. So with freehold ownership, this is the most popular and it's also the most expensive. It is because the owner owns the property and the plot of land that it sits on. They're responsible for the maintenance of all of the interior and the exterior, and it offers the most privacy, which is the biggest benefit and one of the biggest reasons people choose this type of ownership. Alternatively, with condominium ownership, the owner owns the unit and shares ownership of the common elements. So common elements could be like the parking lot, there could be a park, there could be a gym, and with the shared ownership of the common elements comes maintenance fees to cover improvements and maintenance of the common areas. And also with the condominium ownership, there is less privacy, but typically because of all of these reasons, it is usually the more affordable and popular option when it comes to first-time homebuyers or just people looking for something more affordable with all the added benefits of owning a home. Okay, so the last important step before diving into your showings and looking at a bunch of awesome houses is differentiating your wants versus needs. It really sets a good standard for what homes you're really looking into, what compromise you can take, and basically sorting out properties that are not the best fit for you. You really don't want to do an emotional transaction, and once the right property becomes available for you, you're able to act so swiftly and put that offer in, and it just gives you so much more confidence entering the market. Okay, step 4, making an offer. At this point, you've found a property you've really fallen in love with, and you can really imagine yourself living here. So at this stage, it really depends on where the market is at, on what strategies you can use when putting in an offer. So there is a buyer's market, which just simply means there is more supply than there is demand. Equilibrium, so there's an equal amount of inventory versus the demand. A seller's market, there's just way too many buyers out there, super competitive, and just not enough inventory, which could lead to a bidding war. So in regards to negotiating an offer, be prepared to receive a counter offer, which means you've gone into negotiations. Don't be afraid to bargain for your price. You want to ensure that the price is fair. You could also have your offer be accepted or alternatively rejected, which ultimately is not the worst thing because you can always go in with a better offer. So step 5, an inspection. Typically after putting an offer in, if it gets accepted, a really important condition you should have is an inspection condition. It ensures you know the most you can about the property before closing, and this is really just to protect yourself and your best interests, because if there is some severe damage that is just not surface level and you cannot see unless the property is inspected, then you will be able to go back into negotiation with your seller and discuss these final points that your inspector has found. Step 6, we have appraisal and loan approval. So some other checks you're going to have to run before finalizing the closing of your home is an appraisal and a property title search. So now we have step 7, scheduling your move. So this is the part where you want to schedule the movers, renovators, contractors, and then transferring the utilities to under your name, the cleaners, and then also move out details. You want to touch base with your realtor, your lawyer, and get everything organized for that day. Lastly, step 8, congratulations on your new home. Closing is the final step for you to become the legal owner of your new home. So you're going to have to take a final walkthrough just before closing to assure that all the negotiated work has been completed and everything is in working order. The closing process itself does involve a lot of paperwork and patience, but ultimately the outcome is very rewarding. One thing I really do want to mention though is all up until after closing, you want to really ensure you keep your financials clean. So no big purchases, no huge loans, nothing drastic in regards to even like opening up a credit card, shopping for your furniture, buying a new car, things like that. You really want to avoid these big purchases because this could potentially affect your eligibility to fully get your loan. So really touch base with your mortgage agent. Just make sure your financials are as pristine as it was when getting your pre-approval and your loan information, but just keep that communication with your mortgage agent, keep that communication with your realtor. Of course, we will always keep in touch with you in the whole process and keep that communication. Okay, so that was all 8 steps in the roadmap to purchasing a home. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Again, this was all really high level. There is a lot more details that go into it that you can discuss with your realtor when the time comes, but this is it. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I am more than happy to help you out or answer any questions that you have. I have my Instagram, Facebook, and my website connected down below. You can also reach me via email. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Take care, guys.